Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical and welcome back to another video. Today for you guys, I've got a really cool one to share with you. I want to bring to your attention a project that has caught my eye over the past month and that has been worked on over the course of this year. Something that's really cool. We have covered a lot of different projects to do with Kingdom Hearts here on the channel over the years, mainly to do with Kingdom Hearts fan games, but never really so much an actual indie game that is taking a lot of inspiration, cues and notes from Kingdom Hearts as a whole. Its very own project that's going to have its own instilled ideas, its own story, its own lore, but have a lot of Kingdom Hearts flavor sprinkled on top. Today I want to talk to you guys about an indie project that has been helmed by a singular developer known as Yahya that is known as Luminous Realms. It is currently on Steam, so you can actually wishlist this. It's still in very early development. What we have currently seen of the project thus far, with Yahya actually describing his development progress thus far over the course of 3 videos. This is actually how I came across Luminous Realms. And now with even having an early access build for those people who join up to his Discord server, which I will put in the description down below, you can request game access to try out for yourself to provide feedback through the Discord. You will be provided with a Steam key and you can download it and play it through Steam. I have for myself experienced the very early in development build of the game, which simply is just a basic arena, but is more so to show off the very basic concept of how at least combat and a little bit of the movement is actually working in this game, to really exemplify the fact that, wow, this really is taking a lot of notes from Kingdom Hearts. Literally, the title of his first video is titled Making My Own Kingdom Hearts Game, and how good it feels for the stage in development it's currently in. I need to reiterate, it's very early in development. Any of the footage that you guys are going to see that I have recorded myself may look a little bit jank, but this is still a work in progress, and for what we have right here, it is insanely impressive. I am most certainly going to be keeping my eye on this project and providing you guys with updates as they come out. Yahya has been a game developer for the past 8 years, developing games for mobile, VR, and PC platforms, and for the longest time, due to his interest towards Kingdom Hearts being one of his favorite games of all time, has always wanted to create a third-person action game. With him now sort of dabbling into the third-person action format recently, he decided to pursue the idea of making his very own Kingdom Hearts-esque game, and now we have Luminous Realms. Now, when I say that this game is taking notes from Kingdom Hearts, it's taking big notes from Kingdom Hearts, down to the point of taking a lot of inspiration from specifically Kingdom Hearts 2, from its combat and movement systems. Yahya is closely studying the different techniques that Square Enix ended up using in the earlier Kingdom Hearts games, specifically Kingdom Hearts 2. So for instance, in regards to the lock-on system that Kingdom Hearts uses, as it's quite a bit different from most traditional action games that use a lock-on system, he's trying to replicate that. Even the amount of time it takes from Sora to cover distance running in just the general field, so how long it would take Sora to cover maybe like 3 meters, is trying to be replicated here in Luminous Realms, down to also the dodge system, the glide system, and the combat as a whole. I've always stood by this, but I definitely do believe that Kingdom Hearts, aside from its themes, Disney, all of that, the story is just 100% looking at the raw concept of the gameplay is absolutely one of the best action RPG games on the market. The Square Enix team have most certainly perfected action RPG, looking at both the Tokyo team as well as now the Osaka team. Through Remind, I think we've got a lot of reinstalled faith that yes, these guys can make a very competent Kingdom Hearts game. All things like the heads-up display will be taking direct inspiration from Kingdom Hearts, with the HP bar appearing at the top right of the screen, with of course a character art down the bottom right of the screen, although that's not currently in the early build, test build, prototype build of the game. It's just a simple health bar. All of those things that you come to expect from a Kingdom Hearts title will be instilled into Luminous Realms, which gets me really excited. Now, of course, that's not to say that this game won't have its own kind of flavors and its own unique identity and features within itself. Certainly it's not going to just be a straight up Kingdom Hearts clone, but remember, it is taking a lot of inspiration here, and I think it's really impressive to see how Yahya has actually replicated the Kingdom Hearts concept so well so far. Even down to the actual visual style of the game, he is wanting to replicate more of the old school visual style of Kingdom Hearts, and obviously not so much the visual style that we currently see today with the Unreal Engine. Now, this game is being developed on the Unreal Engine, but again, he's wanting to capture that essence of traditional Kingdom Hearts games like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, mainly for the optimization of things, and I also believe that he actually really likes that old traditional art style as well. In regard to the optimization side of things, with the visuals being this way, it means that you won't need any kind of crazy PC setup in order to run it, and his hope is to actually get it onto further platforms in the future, stuff like, of course, Nintendo Switch or mobile phones. And personally, I'm a big fan of the traditional Kingdom Hearts graphical style. There's a certain charm that comes along with it, as much as I definitely do like the way Kingdom Hearts is looking in the modern day and age with Unreal Engine 4, and eventually Unreal Engine 5 with Kingdom Hearts 4. There's just something that is really neat about that old school Kingdom Hearts graphical style. I personally feel like it is timeless and it ages incredibly well. Now, through gaining access to the test build of the game, I decided to ask Yahya a bunch of questions about the Luminous Realms project. I want to know more about it and to be able to share more with you guys, to give you a better view an idea as to what this game is going to be about. I wanted to ask more about what kind of things are planned for the future of this game, what kind of systems are going to be in place, and through doing this has really fleshed out the idea that, yeah, this certainly does have its own identity and isn't actually a Kingdom Hearts clone through and through. Looking at the combat gameplay system, yes, 100% it's Kingdom Hearts, but it seems like through some of these answers, it is certainly going to be its own thing. So, beginning with the first question, I asked, how long have you been working on this project? He came back and said, I've been working on Luminous Realms since March of 2022. I have a day job where I work at a VR anime game company here in Tokyo, where we're currently making Attack on Titan VR. Absolutely insane. Very cool. That sounds like a fun time. And so when I'm not at my company, I work on my game, which is usually around 2 hours a day, with a couple of extra hours on the weekend. So you guys should know that this is a project that is being helmed by one person. It's not being worked on all of the time. So don't really expect it to be out really any time soon. I think all of the progress that has been made thus far to where the game is currently at, with just basically getting basic systems developed and down on pat, I think is impressive enough given the amount of time the game has been in development for. Not even a year yet, and we already have a very basic concept, but that is looking very promising considering that it has, for the most part, replicated the Kingdom Hearts gameplay combat system very well, considering it's only one guy. The game is inspired through Kingdom Hearts, so I have to ask, what other kind of combat mechanics and features do you have planned? Summons, magics, special abilities, revenge value system, counters, minigames, etc. For now, I'm entirely focused on implementing a melee combat system that feels as close to the Kingdom Hearts combat system as possible. Once I've gotten that down and working nicely, I will start adding special abilities similar to Kingdom Hearts that you will be able to unlock through the game. I will also be adding a bunch of movement abilities that you unlock over time, which will allow you to reach parts of the world that you couldn't get to before, similar to how Kingdom Hearts 1 blocked off certain areas of the world until you gained certain abilities. So for the likes of areas of Monstro, you wouldn't be able to access some of those areas without the use of high jump. Various different areas throughout Kingdom Hearts 1 also required the use of glide to reach, and going forward for the Kingdom Hearts games, this is something that it has actually lacked, with the raw combat of the game kind of taking a front seat, and the exploration platforming side of things taking a backseat. He goes on to say, if I had time, I would love to add magic abilities and a system similar to Drive Forms, but I'll have to be careful not to have the game be too big and take forever to finish. So exactly right. I mean, at this point, again, it's only one person developing the game. There's only so many things you can add. Basic systems are obviously priority. Just get a really fun basic combat system down on pat, have your platforming stuff, have your exploration, you're pretty much good to go. It's the sort of thing that if a project then does take off and it warrants a sequel, those sort of additional features like flashy moves and all that kind of cool stuff can then be added when, of course, more funding and stuff like that comes through to warrant you actually sacrificing time out of your day to further develop the next project. I then asked, aside from Kingdom Hearts, what other action games or games in general have you taken as inspiration for Luminous Realms? The main two games I'm taking inspiration from are Kingdom Hearts and Zelda Breath of the Wild, both for their gameplay style and world exploration. Aside from that, I'm taking inspiration from Final Fantasy, Persona 5, Undertale, and A Short Hike. I'm also inspired by animes and movies like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Digimon Adventure. Bless my man. You're a man of culture. You really are. Another Digimon fan. I love to see it. Agumon is definitely happy to hear this. Monster Rancher, The Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter. Most certainly a wide category of things to be inspired through, but specifically the game is 100% inspired through the likes of Kingdom Hearts as a first, and Breath of the Wild as a second. We'll get to the Breath of the Wild stuff in a moment as to where that will come into the game's system. I then asked, while the game is still in early development, I'm assuming by the title Luminous Realms, this game's worlds are realms. Do you currently have a set amount of realms as an end goal for the final product? He went on to say, yeah, indeed, the realms in Luminous Realms was initially meant to convey the idea that you will be traveling to different worlds, but during development, I realized that if I made the game one big world, I would be able to have many different stories in it that can intertwine and have different character crossovers. I feel one missed opportunity in the Kingdom Hearts franchise is that Disney worlds almost never cross over and tend to be isolated worlds and stories, and therefore I want to make all my characters and stories take place in the same world. So initially, the whole Luminous Realms title referred to the fact that the realms were going to essentially work like the worlds in Kingdom Hearts games. But this is where that Breath of the Wild inspiration takes place, is that now the idea of the, I guess the world system in this game is that it is going to be one big space. Now, I wouldn't say expect like a massive open world or anything like that per se. Remembering again, one person developing this, but it is going to be one large space, a huge wide open area. There'll be different areas that you'll be able to access once you get the different mobility abilities, and a bigger emphasis on the whole platforming side of things. The platforming side of things seemed to be quite a big focus here for Luminous Realms, as it's one thing that was initially started in the very early development of this game. Especially within that very first video, we can actually see Yahya actually developing a small little playground to make sure that stuff like platforming is working nicely. And even when looking at something like the Kingdom Hearts ledge grabbing system, where Sora will jump up to a ledge and then can hold on and pull himself up, that has also been replicated here as well. So it really seems like he wants to go for that really original idea that Kingdom Hearts had in the first place, to have that Square RPG flair, but with the Super Mario 64 type playground platforming going on. And again, this is something that I really do miss when it comes to the future of the Kingdom Hearts games past Kingdom Hearts 1. It seems like that whole concept really took a back seat. I asked, are you planning to add a party member system, or is this a solo adventure? He mentioned, with the Zelda Breath of the Wild style mini open world, so there it is, being dubbed as mini open world I'm trying to go for, it would be really hard to have a party system that follow you around and fight alongside you. As much as I would love to add a system like that, I don't think I have the resource for it, but I might be able to add a form of limits or summons that have allies join the battle for a short amount of time. I wanted to ask this to see if he really is going as far as to pretty much replicate basically almost all of the different Kingdom Hearts systems, but you can tell with the Zelda mini Breath of the Wild open world type thing, and with not having all of the same different systems that a Kingdom Hearts game would have, but rather just the core concepts, the emphasis on platforming, and the fact that, yeah, this is going to be just completely a solo game, even though of course there have been solo Kingdom Hearts games, you can see that it definitely will have its own flair. I'm sure also too that when looking at the combat system, this game's probably going to have elements of its own tech. there is a really neat deflect system that if you time it just right, you can actually swing the weapon into a projectile and it will deflect it back at the enemy. This is actually something that is present in Kingdom Hearts 1 with some projectiles, mainly looking at like Walker's Blitzball, but is something that has like never returned since KH1. I asked, do you have any ideas as to how you want the layout of realms to work? At this point now, we know it's just one singular realm. Bigger emphasis on platforming, interactables more similar to Kingdom Hearts 1, arena style, more in line with DMC's progression, etc., or maybe straightforward like Kingdom Hearts 2. He mentioned, I really loved how Kingdom Hearts 1 made the worlds feel like big playgrounds with a lot of emphasis on platforming, which harkens back to the initial idea of Kingdom Hearts combining Mario 64 platforming mechanics with Final Fantasy RPG mechanics. That is something I want to replicate in Luminous Realms, but in a more open world style, similar to Zelda Breath of the Wild, which gives a huge sense of wonder and exploration. It really is like two of the absolute coolest genres sort of mixing together. You've got the action RPG, and then you have platformers. At least for me, those are my two absolute favorite gaming genres of all time. So that gets me really happy to see, and I think it's a really cool idea that rather than going for all of these different worlds with all kinds of different like biomes and stuff like that, and they're their own self-contained little spaces, this is just one big mini open world to explore with all kinds of secrets that can be hidden within. I asked them curious about the enemies for this title. I noticed that they're called Phantoms. Loved the few designs you have already. As of this time, do you have any ideas behind the lore of these enemies and what kind of designs we could expect from them? Do some correspond to the current realm you're in, similar to the Heartless in each Disney world you would visit in Kingdom Hearts? You mentioned the current monsters in the game are just placeholders for now. I plan on adding totally different monsters to the game in the future with more personality. There will be lore behind the monsters, but I'm not sure if it's going to be something as big and as complex as Heartless Nobodies unversed in Dream Eaters. I'm still writing the game's story as we speak, so I still haven't finalized those side of things. I mean, I understand the monsters that are currently in this test build are just kind of like, you know, little sort of cartoony chibi type ghost phantom type things, but I think they're really neat, and you can definitely tell by the few monster models that are in this test build that there is that kind of like Heartlessy sort of feeling behind them. Speaking of the whole Heartless vibe type thing, like in Kingdom Hearts, when a Heartless spawns, they usually spawn out of like this GFX effect of like darkness, and the same thing can sort of be seen here. Love that little attention to detail. And then the same thing, that like particle effect that pops out when you defeat the enemy, same goes for in Kingdom Hearts, so love that attention to detail. I assume though, once obviously Yahya's got more of the actual world fleshed out and the lore is further written, something totally different obviously will spawn from that. I then asked, could you tell us a little bit more about the protagonist, if there's anything extra to tell at this stage? Akira is the main protagonist who's been plunged into this mysterious world and is told that he's the only one that can save everyone from the world being taken over by the evil Overlord. Classic RPG setup, not going for anything too crazy. Obviously, again, this is at the very early stages of the game's development, so it's going to be a little bit more fleshed out than that, of course. But yeah, basic, very cool, very simple. Keep it clean, simple, clean. Keep it easy. Again, one person developing. I really like it, and Akira is the name of the main protagonist, also keeping in mind too, the character is apparently also a placeholder at this stage as well. How confident are you about a Switch release? I see this is something you brought up in one of your development videos in regards to optimization. Now the reason why I wanted to ask this is, obviously this is an indie game, though of course Nintendo are kind of quite welcoming when it comes to indie games. So yes, totally, it might seem like a shot in the dark, but there's absolutely a possibility that something like this, if it gains enough traction and recognition, could actually make its way onto the eShop. The reason why I asked this was mainly because currently right now, we don't really have a Kingdom Hearts experience aside from Melody of Memory on Switch. This is not a Kingdom Hearts experience, I repeat, this is absolutely not Kingdom Hearts experience. It's complete another catch. So if Luminous Realms came to Switch, it would probably be the closest thing we have to a Kingdom Hearts experience on the system. And also, I think just from looking at Luminous Realms thus far from what I've seen, would be the perfect Switch game. But he mentioned, I will do everything in my power to make the game come out on the Switch. I love putting games to handheld gaming consoles and love the idea of people being able to play games wherever they go. Bless that, of course. But first, the game will be coming out on PC through Steam, and following that, I will work on getting the game out on as many consoles as I can. So also then looking at like PlayStation, Xbox, they also welcome indie games with open arms, so there is also a chance there, of course, if the game receives enough traction. Lastly, favorite Kingdom Hearts game? I think I can guess. He did mention Kingdom Hearts 2. I thought so. A lot of the inspiration of this project is stemmed specifically through Kingdom Hearts 2, so that was a pretty easy one to guess, but he mentioned, I played that game so many times and I still love to play it to this day. During my childhood, I had a period where I was very lonely and depressed, and during that time, playing Kingdom Hearts 2, being with all these characters and experiencing all those stories, gave me so much comfort and helped me through that difficult time. That's why the Kingdom Hearts franchise will always have a special place in my heart. I resonate so much with this, and I really do feel like it's quite a common thing for a lot of people that are fans of Kingdom Hearts, where at some point in their life, Kingdom Hearts has actually helped them and pulled them out of a dark moment. So that right there, guys, is Luminous Realms. Very impressive from what we're seeing so far, and hopefully this Q&A session has given you a slightly better idea as to how this game is going to work. I think it looks incredibly promising, and especially because it's coming from one person, and how they've managed to replicate that Kingdom Hearts system so well thus far. I'm really excited to see exactly the progress that will be made and the updates that will come to fruition over the course of time, and to then eventually see that final product. If you guys want to get involved with providing feedback towards the game and even testing it out for yourselves, I will leave the link to the Discord in the description down below. And also, if you guys want to keep up with updates from this game directly, you can also check out Yahya's YouTube channel. I'll leave that in the description down below too. Highly suggest that you guys go check out the 3 development videos that are currently out on his channel as of right now. They're very good and give a little bit more insight as to the process that Yahya's actually had to go through thus far, up to the testing phase that we're at now. I thought I should also mention that he even got the opportunity to advertise and show off his game at a recent convention over in Japan, so he's really keen on this. He's going full balls to the walls with it. So I have to say congratulations and keep up the hard work, man. Alright guys, I'm Cynical. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys real soon. Peace.